limit is y goes to 4 of 3 over y plus 2 minus 1 over y minus 2 divided by y squared minus 5 times y plus 4. First thing we're going to do is try plugging a 4 in for each of the y's. In the numerator, that will give us 3 over 4 plus 2 minus 1 over 4 minus 2. All of this over 4 squared minus 5 times 4 plus 4. In the numerator, this will be 3 over 4 plus 2, which is a 6, minus 1 over 4 minus 2, which is a 2. In the denominator, 4 squared is a 16, minus 5 times 4 is a negative 20, plus 4. But back in the numerator, that 3 over 6 can cancel down to a 1 over 2 by a common divisor of 3. 1 over 2 minus 1 over 2. In the denominator, 16 minus 20 is negative 4, and then we have plus 4. In the numerator, 1/2 minus 1/2 is a 0. In the denominator, negative 4 plus 4 is a 0. So we have the 0 over 0 indeterminate form. And we do have fractions within here, so we're going to try to get a common denominator between those two. And the common denominator between those two will be a y plus 2 times a y minus 2. So we're going to multiply the first term by y minus 2 over y minus 2. And we're going to multiply the second term by y plus 2 over y plus 2, forms of 1, to give them the common denominator. The overall denominator we're not going to do anything with just yet. That gives us the limit as y goes to 4 of, in the numerator, we are going to have a 3 times a y plus 2 here. We're going to multiply and distribute that. That will become 3y minus 6 minus 1 times the y plus 2, and that'll be y plus 2. Each of those will be under the common denominator. I'm going to keep that factored. It will be y plus 2 and y minus 2. Notice that we have a minus there. I'm keeping that minus there. That minus will distribute onto both of these terms when we go and combine them together. That'll come in the next step. This will be over y squared minus 5y plus 4. So this is limit as y goes to 4 of, combining those fractions together, we will have 3y minus 6, distributing the minus sign, be careful with that, minus y minus 2 over a common denominator of y plus 2, y minus 2, and then that entire thing over y squared minus 5y plus 4. I have a couple of terms that can combine together in the numerator. Actually, this 3y and this minus y can combine. And just the same, this negative 6 here and this negative 2 can combine. We're going to do that in our next step. So that'll give us limit as y goes to 4. 3y minus y will be a 2y. Minus 6 minus 2 will be minus 8 over y plus 2, y minus 2, and then that entire thing over y squared minus 5y plus 4. Alright, so what we want to do at this point, we still have 0 over 0. That hasn't changed until we cancel something out, and we haven't done any canceling. Usually that involves some kind of factor and then cancel. But before you can do any of that, we have to actually reciprocate the denominator. So I'm going to be putting it over 1 so we can reciprocate and multiply. That's always part of the step in the common denominator fraction type of the 0 over 0 indeterminate form limit. You always get a common denominator, you combine the fractions over the common denominator, and then you reciprocate the overall denominator and multiply it. So this will be multiplying 1 divided by, the reciprocal is, flip it upside down, 1 divided by y squared minus 5y plus 4. We can now multiply these fractions out. You just multiply the numerators and the denominators. And this will turn it into the power function type of problem at that point. In the numerator we have 2y minus 8 times of 1. That'll just be a 2y minus 8. In the denominator we have y plus 2 times y minus 2 times y squared minus 5y plus 4. So we have a 0 over 0 form still, since we haven't yet canceled. The 0 in the numerator is coming from the 2y minus 8. The 0 in the denominator is coming from the y squared minus 5y plus 4. Both of those become 0 when y is a 4. We need to factor those a little further to be able to get the cancellation to happen. Now that numerator actually can factor by a common factor of a 2. And there's the y minus 4 factor that we expect to see that's making a 0 in the numerator. In the denominator, the y plus 2, the y minus 2, neither of those are making the 0, but we can also trinomial factor the y squared minus 5y plus 4. It'll factor into a y and a y. Two numbers that multiply to give you positive 4 and add to give you negative 5. It sounds like a minus 4 and a minus 1 will do that. And now you can finally see the y minus 4 factors that are making the 0 over 0. And at that point we can cancel. And as soon as you're able to do that step, that's when you remove the 0 over 0 problem. And we now have limit as y goes to 4 of 2 divided by y plus 2, y minus 2, y minus 1. We can now plug a 4 in for each of the y's. And it'll be 2 divided by 4 plus 2, 4 minus 2, 4 minus 1, which will be 2 over 6 times 2 times 3, which is 2 over 6 times 2 is a 12 times 3 is a 36. So we now have 2 over 36, which does have a common divisor of a 2. Let's divide them each by 2 and finish out with 1 over 18.